Hi, it's Dena Tollefson, and here's the fun snowman we're going to work on today. I'm so glad that you're here. This little jaunty, fun snowman in watercolor. I'll take you step by step through the process of creating him. And we'll be using watercolor. I'll show you some tips and tricks for keeping soft edges in your watercolor, and also show you some fun lifting techniques. And we're going to be using salt to get some neat effects in our background. So let's get started. Going to be using some watercolor cards. These are from Strathmore. You can actually make your own watercolor card, or you can buy them pre-made, and they have little envelopes that they will fit in. But this little snowman is a lot of fun to do, and we'll be using the salt resist technique. So the things that you'll need today are you will need some paper, watercolor paper. This happens to be a mixed media paper. You can use watercolor paper or mixed media paper. You're going to want some sea salt or some table salt or both. I'll use both here today. And then we'll need some watercolor brushes. So watercolor brushes are these, let's see here, black velvet. We've got a number 10, a number 4, and then a 3/4 inch wash brush. And then some Q-tips for softening and relifting color. We'll need some paper towels or some old cloth. And then you'll need your watercolors. So I'm using watercolors that are in a pan. And this is a Richardson pan that has a cover on it. It's really nice and convenient. And a little mixing tray. This is also from Richardson. It's a little porcelain tray. You don't have to use these things. You actually can just use regular watercolor in pans if you prefer. I like to use watercolor that comes in tubes, and then you just squeeze the tube into the tray, and I keep a little record of what's what, and then I'll refer to that little record. But it's just a personal preference kind of thing. To start out, you're going to want to go ahead and get your watercolor paper all the way taped down. So you can use washi tape, or you can use like what I'm using here, which is a Pro pH neutral masking tape. So once you get that all going, then the next step is to start painting. So I'm so excited, and I can't wait for you to paint along with me. So what I'm going to do first is carefully outline the shape of our snowman with just plain water, and I'm using the 3/4 inch watercolor brush with just plain water. Just getting water on here. What we're going to do is we're going to make a wash of these different colors of blue, and then put the salt on top to try and get a kind of a snowflakey approach. So looking at our color chart here, I love these. Well, I love a variety of blues in the sky, but I'm thinking, let's go with this. There's this wonderful, this one here. This is at the top. So this is the Holbein Peacock Blue. Let's start with, and let's have a majority of our sky be in this wonderful peacock blue. We'll just get this put on our, just kind of randomly allowing the color to go up near where the areas that we've pre-wet it. All right. And then I'm going to wash the brush, or rinse the brush off in this little bucket of clean water, and just wipe off the extra here. And then let's go in with another color. So looking at our color chart, French ultramarine always looks really pretty in skies. So let's dip into that and apply some of this French ultramarine up here. And then let's go for a third blue. Let's pick another blue here. This cobalt is also really nice. So the cobalt is up here, up by this green. Got a little bit of cobalt in as well in our sky. I'm just gonna kind of randomly dot this color in like that. Okay, so now here comes the tricky part. The tricky part is knowing when to put the salt on. Wait until your paper is kind of dry, but it has a little bit of a shine on it, but you don't want it too shiny. So, so if we have any extra paint here, I'm gonna pick up with the brush. We don't want any puddling paint. So we'll just go into the edges up here and pull off if we have any extra paint, but we're going for like a really frosty, kind of a frosty kind of a textured effect in our sky. And if you can see that, if you can see it all, that our sky right now, it's pretty wet. So we can't put the salt on it now. So what I'll use is I'll use the heat gun and we'll just kind of dry it a little bit. Okay, so I got the sky a little bit dry. So one way is you can use a hair dryer or a heat gun like I'm using. The other way to do this is to just walk away and just come back later when it's a little bit more dry. But let's go ahead and try our salt now. So it's this moment of truth. I'm gonna get a couple of grains out of our coarse sea salt and just get a couple of these going here. And see if we can make any kind of neat blooming effects. I love when there's like a blooming effect from salt. I always admire when artists can get a wonderful bloom, a beautiful bloom in their skies or other areas. Now I'll take the regular table salt and let's just sprinkle a little bit in here as well. Aha, okay, I can see that we're getting a little bit of effect here. So the trick now is to wait until this completely dries. So you're gonna, on your snowman, when you're working on it, go ahead and get your sky done first and then put your salt on and then let this completely dry. You'll know that it's dry when it's gone all the way flat. So I'm now dabbing with the Q-tip and the salt together. And we'll see what we can do here. Kind of create some special effects. There, I'm liking that a lot. So if your salt is kind of not working yet, quite yet, you can use a Q-tip to kind of guide it along a little bit. We'll get a clean one here. Let's just soften this effect so we have all these soft, gentle snow drift effects. So just with plain water, let's go on and we're gonna soften the edge of the hat up here. So we don't want to have really any hard edges here. So the edges of our snowman, because it's a circle, we want the edges to be soft. So just going in here and then letting the watercolor do its exciting effect. If that goes under here, we're going to get this wet, and now what we can do is create a little bit of an extra shadow effect. So I'm going to take we'll be using this smaller, this number 4 watercolor brush, and let's make a color by using, getting the color chart out here. Let's use some of the this Holbein Permanent Violet. Let's take a little bit of that and put that over here onto our mixing tray. This Permanent Violet. We'll take some Holbein Neutral Tint and add that to the purple. We need a little bit more of the neutral tint. Let's put in a little bit of some shadow effect. So let's get a little bit of shadow effect underneath his hat and along here and also out here in the snow. So we'll have him make kind of a, we need his shadow. And if you get a puddle of you can just work your color across and then soften the edge just by running the brush over it like that. So like that, there we go. Add a little bit more color there. The idea here is we're just going for soft effects. And we'll let that kind of feather out over there. So now the next step is to let that dry. So let's get our dryer going. This next process is we're going to be just gently removing color, lifting color, and then blending the color into the white paper. So we're going to just lift. We don't want any on snow, don't want any hard edges here. So we'll just go in with just a little bit of plain water. And what the plain water will do for you is it will just give you a nice soft edge. The other way that you can do this is with a Q-tip. So I'll just take a Q-tip and dip it in water. And you can also just give yourself nice soft edges just using the Q-tip. Like that. Okay, very good. So now let's work on to let's work on his Santa hat. So the first thing we'll do is let's get our colors. So we're going to do a red hat. So we have Winsor Newton Winsor red. Let's just start with a base of this Winsor red. And we're going to get that all along here. And you know what? I just realized I wanted to leave that as white because I want that to be fluffy. So let's get rid of that actually. If that ever happens to you, this is all you can do is you can just lift it back off. Hat fluff. I wanted that to be hat fluff. Okay, let's get our red. Continuing our red here. All right, so let's now take an accent color. So let's go in with, what's this color here? Winsor orange. Let's make Winsor orange for the light area on his hat. Like that. And then let's use this wonderful, I love this color here. This is the Winsor & Newton Permanent Magenta. Let's use that for the dark part of his red hat. Like that. And then come in, and while this is still wet, let's come back in with our Winsor & Newton Winsor Red and kind of join those colors together. I'm going to paint all the way up to the edge of our sky. Like that, there we go. All right, and then we need to have our little ball of fluff at the end. So we can let that dry and then work on our little ball of fluff. Let me get a little bit more of that. Get a little bit more of the orange. Just let those colors mingle. Let's go back in under here. Let's work a little bit on some shadowing for our snowman there. And then now let's soften. So we're gonna go in and make a soft edge up there. Just taking plain water, like this would leave a hard edge. So how we make sure it isn't is we just come in with plain water on both edges and then just let the color kind of mingle. And then if you find as it dries you're getting a hard edge again, then just come back in and restate that color. And then over here on the edge of our snowman, we don't want it too gray. And then if you find, like, I feel like I've got a little bit too much color here, so I can come back in and soften with a Q-tip. Like that. Anything we want to soften, we can just soften with a Q-tip, or you can also use your paintbrush, of course. I'm looking at our snowman and I'm thinking that he's got a little bit of some hard edges over here. So I want to go in and just soften bottom of his hat. Let's make that a little more obvious. There we go. So you'll see that I'm putting on kind of a thick amount, so not too watery. Kind of some thick amount of pigment. So let's get a nice arm here, and we'll put another arm behind the cotton ball, behind his cotton ball hat. Like that. There we go. And now we can put in, with the same Van Dyke brown, we can put in some little eyes for our snowman. We can give him some buttons. And then we need to do his nose. So using that same orange that we had, let's go in and paint a little orange nose. Let's get some Van Dyke brown for the edge of the nose. And we'll toss in a little red just for balance. Since we have red up here, let's get some red on the top of the nose. And then finish that with more of the orange. I'm just going to take some plain water and again just get, because we want soft edges in our snow, just get that nice and soft. We'll tease the color a little bit over here. Like that, there we go. All right, and now we are ready to sign. So I'm going to sign, you can sign with watercolor pencil, you can sign using paintbrush, you can sign using graphite. I'm gonna, a pen, really anything that you like. I'm gonna sign over here. Well, our little snowman card is all done and ready to go. And he's ready to go inside his envelope and be sent to a loved one. So I hope that you'll make a snowman if you can. Make a snowman and let me know how it went. And I hope to see you again soon. So until next time, it's Dena Tollefson. All my best to you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, my art club members. I appreciate you.